have the second one from Zira and Lily, which is exciting. We have Shane here, who I think is going to do a quick update on some work that he's interested in. We have who else? We have Eli to give a quick screenplays update. So a huge amount to get through today. So we're going to get going in 2 minutes, and we'll dive straight in with some announcements. Not many announcements this week, and then yeah, we'll move forward. For those of you who are new, and particularly Shane, Zira, and Lily, if you just want to comment in the chat, just put a name and a topic that you want to discuss. That would be fantastic, and then we'll make sure that you get included. For the name and topic section is effectively everyone does a 5-minute introduction. Sorry, a 5-minute presentation introduction to the topic, and then there's usually like 5 to 10 minutes of follow up. Sometimes if it's not needed, then it also won't happen. Also, okay to do a very quick update as well. Doesn't need to be in depth. We're going in 1 minute, so drop your name and topics in the chat, and we'll get through them quite quickly.
Uh-oh. I don't hear anyone. Is audio
working? No, it was it. We were in silence. We were waiting.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And wonderful to have you up here. Drop the name topic in the chat if you want to give a quick update. I think it's quite a busy one today, so get in nice and early, and I'm going to be quite ruthless with time.
Okay. I like to be last, so I'll put mine on for last as soon as I see everyone get their names and topics in.
In two hours time. Just be me listening.
It's gonna be a long one.
It's gonna be a long one, but that's okay. That's what we like. There's a lot happening. Alrighty. Well, first of all, thanks everyone. I'm going to show my screen. Entire screen. Can everyone see that? Someone give a little shout out. Can everyone see my screen?
We have your screen. Go for it.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Rich. I'm one of the directors at the Foundation, and a couple of announcements to kick off this week. Super excited to say that Super is sheet this week. Excited to have an update from Eli. He's going to give an update on that. There's also been a Demon technical release, which Doug is going to give, and Daydream Music demo. Doug's going to give a quick overview. We have the Explorer UX Analysis RP application has been inbound, semicolon, and that is primarily, we have Zero and Lily who are going to give a quick overview, and we're going to have Elliot give a quick overview. And then I've left this one intentionally vague because there's a couple of new RFPs in the pipeline. What I will say is that over the next 7 days, by the time that we have next Watercooler, is what I'm trying to say, There'll be hopefully a new RFP inbound, so just keep an eye out, and we'll keep you updated. Awesome. This is a question that is plaguing me at the minute because I find probably about 7 times a year, which is a not insignificant amount, we end up changing the time of watercolor, and that always leads to people not showing up, or it's just a bit of a pain in the ass. So I want to put up a potential new time for watercolor on the Tuesday rather than the Monday. I also don't want to have mass mutiny against the foundation for suggesting this, so I will be doing a poll and sharing it at some point here, just to ensure that we get a new time that works for everyone. I know it's also quite late for people in the EU. Okay, cool. Let's move on. There are no major roadmap suggestion updates and no major accountability updates. It's been, I feel like, a quiet week for planning, and there's a lot inbound in the next couple of weeks. Or, my dad, do you want to give a quick update?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as everyone knows, this is like the last week of the month, so make sure to send your updates in. I'm not gonna go through it on the next water cooler because it's going to be the first, so gonna give everyone a little bit more time to get those updates in, but definitely the week after, I'll be sharing, as always, the wrap up of the month, so make sure to have all of the updates posted by then. Yeah, thank you.
Get your updates in is the CTA. So thanks a lot for that. And super important that we do get that cadence back. And it's just best practice for everyone, particularly if you don't want to give weekly updates. Even if you do give weekly updates, I think it's useful to have a monthly summary. So great. Let's come. We have about 8 topics today, so we're going to have to be really quick. Define. I'm hoping that you will set the trend of going through this nice and quickly. I am going to put a timer on for a maximum of 4 minutes 30 seconds, and then I'll give a 30-second overview, or allow people to run over. So Define, do you want to kick us off with Weave updates?
Yes, absolutely. Can you hear me, Rich?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Amazing. So I will try to be as quick as possible. We have give the deliverables to be up for review. They haven't been reviewed yet from the foundation. We expect them to review them by Rick in the next couple of days. In the meantime, we did a review ourselves in the deliverables. We found some omissions which we're implementing the solutions for. So these are the updates on the deliverables. Regarding the applications, we have two applications on the pipeline. We have the Askuno application, was LLM API towards builders using LLM models provided by Livepeer, and the second application, which is not yet done, is Fast Compute, which is a compute marketplace using Livepeer Compute. Now, for the Askuno application, we also redesigned the application, so instead of being able to give LLM compute and charge people for that, which, considering the state of the current open source LLM models, especially the mid-tier LLM models, might not have been too successful. So we redesigned the application to basically work with the following structure. So you giving the LLM calls for free, and you're integrating third-party bounty programs like Algora.io, and you basically say to people, who do not have the money to buy compute programs like buy token programs like codex programs and cloud programs, we will give you compute for free to be able to solve these GitHub bounties, and Askuno will receive if you are able to solve the bounty amount, and you will get paid most of that bounty amount, so more than 50 to up to 80% probably, and we'll get the rest of that as application profit. So we are trying this now. This redesign, together with all the backend will be ready later today. So I'm at the end of the process as we speak. And once that is done, we are able to provide the advertisement. We already have released the advertisement funds the previous week. This was blocked, so we will be able to test that application. These are the updates for the first application. On the second application, we're continue to develop it. It's still in the building phase. We expect it to roll out on the next month, and we will announce it for the orchestrators. With the release of the Punch Compute application, we expect ourselves to use the product. So we're looking forward to buy some useful compute from the orchestrators, and also, of course, market that application forward so that we can get some external traffic as well. And of course, we will publish on the dashboard what amount is from third-party sources and what amount was generated from with compute.
Alrighty, fantastic. There's five seconds to spare. Great. Any questions for DeFi? Do you want to potentially share some links as well? I realize those who are new to Escuno and what you're trying to do is would be useful to share.
Absolutely. 1 second. This is the URL for Ascuno. I haven't done the change yet. This is the URL for the KPIs. Now have in mind that this keeps track of the KPIs. Have in mind that we haven't advertised this application yet, so everything that you see is traffic from friends and family, people that we gave it to test out. And one update that I omitted was regarding the embodied avatars. I know that Inc. also is working on the embodied avatars, at least till the next month. Because of token costs and other issues, we will not be able to further develop the Unreal Engine avatars. So we will give more updates about how this will proceed during the next month. I know Dane is in the audience here, who has been doing a lot of work in the avatars. Yes, so the Unreal Engine is amazing for live peer, for the low compute cost on creating graphic applications. But right now for Weave, I think like to give to generate fees for the orchestrators, we need to get the low hanging fruit.
So embodied to be discontinued, is that
Not to be discontinued, to be potentially reworked. There is a lot of promise in a game engine for running on live here, because you can create things that if you were running with with models, with traditional models, you will need probably H100 or H200 or even bigger GPUs. But if you're running, but you can run an avatar on a 3060, even on the 2000 series GPU cards. So the same principle that I just explained also applies in different graphic application in multiplayer games. So there is definitely a lot of depth, but the first two applications need to be the low-hanging fruit that we are doing so that we can actually bring fig growth to the orchestrators faster.
Makes sense. Got to pivot where you got to go. Question from John. This could be a neat way to incentivize automated development pipelines. I know you've spoken about that in the past. Providing incentives for optimized engineering workflows. Has there been specific research applied toward optimizing these smaller LLM models? Maybe very quickly define. Do you want to respond?
I tried to really understand the question, providing incentives for optimized engineering workflows. You mean, John, towards third-party users? Do I understand correctly? Yes, okay. So this was one of the core objectives of the WIF proposal. We haven't done work towards that, and it's projected to be on the third phase of the deliverables. We have 4 phases. The reason for that is that the existing incentive accruals are not enough to incentivize a large amount of people. What we are doing is that we are actually giving some compute sponsorships to people. So yesterday we gave to a developer a cloud code plan so that they can create a GPU application. But this is not in a large scale yet. Which models are in scope?
Maybe Define, you can. I'm just conscious of time. We have a lot of people to get through. Maybe you can respond async and chat with John in chat.
Yes, absolutely. So I would just finished it with this. We just use a Gwen coder model. I will give you the exact model, and this is just for the Ascuno application. So for the other application, we're not using models. I can bring with John on private. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Define. Thanks for the update. And yeah, super exciting to see how Ascuno develops there. Awesome. Next up, we have Elliot. I'm going to actually come to Shane first, if you don't. No, actually. Yeah, I'm going to come to Shane first, and then I'll prepare just quickly for Elliot, if that's all right. Shane, do you want to come up? If you raise your hand, I'll be able to get you up. Oh yeah, perfect. Welcome, Shane. Can you hear me?
See, can you hear me?
Yes, you've passed the
Nice.
first test, which is actually being able to operate Discord.
That is well, operate from Linux. That's the
that's the ultimate test. Yeah,
the ultimate test. Yeah.
Rick will attest to that. Awesome. So yeah, welcome, Shane. I know this is the first time, so you have 5 minutes. You can share your screen. That's also okay if you have anything to share. Also fine if you don't.
Yeah, I don't have any screenshots or anything to share from that, but I can explain. Yeah. So hey everyone, name's Shane. I've recently connected with a bunch of the folks at the foundation, and I've worked with many of them before in other ecosystems, and so it was great to kind of reconnect with old friends and then make some new ones. I was kind of exploring around LivePeer with kind of thinking through kind of agentic workflows. LivePeer right now, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in the agentic space with making LivePeer like APIs and capabilities accessible to application developers. Um, and actually, a few weeks ago, I was looking at my inventory of videos because my background is video production originally years ago, before I got into Web3, and uh, I was trying to figure out a way I could kind of process all my videos and do things like object identifying, like scene identifying, a lot of those kind of things that I would have to basically build out an application on my computer. There's a lot of open source libraries that exist out there, but it was gonna, it'd be a good solid, 2 weekends or something to really get something together that I could kind of create this library for my digital media. And most of the work would actually just be a lot of back end work, like just getting these libraries to work, allowing me to ingest videos into, running through these different LLMs or libraries. Uh, and so with kind of reconnecting with LivePeer, yeah, I've actually been really impressed with some of the things that have been being built on the application developer side, and I'm currently talking to the foundation about opening an RFP to kind of help bridge the gap of kind of like then the next stage where creating a way for there to be agentic workflows, allowing LivePeer to be directly in workflows itself. So you could actually like use OpenClaw and say, hey, I've got these videos. I want to transcode them into this format. I want to do scene detection. I want to do this, 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 and this. And you could actually just send it to LivePeer because LivePeer already has most of the infrastructure for doing that. And then there's a lot of developer tools to be able to create applications to do that. But then there's kind of this one more layer where there has to be an easy way for agents to simply use LivePeer in workflows. So I'm exploring what that kind of looks like. I've been digging around a lot of different uh, library or a lot of different tools right now in the LivePeer space. And ultimately, there's some really cool stuff, and I'd love to connect with more folks out there that are building kind of these easier ways to interface with LivePeer, because I'm wanting to kind of bring that agentic workflow user experience to agents themselves. So this isn't about building a tool for developers to use agents to create applications, but actually directly give agents access to LivePear as a tool. And so so some of the things is like create your own copilot for meetings, right? That's doing transcoding right there on the spot, and doing like voice detection, things of that nature. That could actually just be done through basically tools if you kind of have the right interface and you have the right kind of framework above what these other tools in the LivePeer ecosystem have been building. So those are kind of things I'm exploring, and yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. And definitely open to talk to folks in the space. I know I've been looking a lot at the cloud. The cloud work. Mike, I believe I saw you jump in on this call. Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of your tools and stuff, and that's a huge way of abstracting away so much of LivePeer in order to kind of make this possible.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff already tied to what you're talking about. Maybe not to the full extent, but I think we could definitely work together. You could probably build on some of the things we're doing and get even faster to where you're looking to go. So I'd be willing to connect offline and see where this goes.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I mean, yeah, it's really just turning LivePeer more into tools, right? Agentic tools. And yeah, because again, if I had to, if I had a weekend or two, I could even with what you guys have built already, it would take some time to really kind of iron out everything and make everything operate the way that I need it to operate to use with my one use case. But uh, if you really want to get into kind of the larger ecosystem, that's where I was just seeing a lot of opportunity. And since you guys have built so much of the foundation, just wanted to see if there was a place to kind of finish the loop, so we could anyone using OpenClaw or any of these kind of fully agentic workflows would just be able to use LivePeer in a ad hoc way. Just use it here, use it there, and you really have kind of minimal interfacing that the agents would have to do in order to get those services through LivePeer.
Yeah, that sounds great, man.
Keep speaking. I'm just creating an event. I'm creating an event for you, Shane. So the idea would be to have a follow up from this, where rather than having loads of async back and forth between different between Mike. I know Define. You've put a lot of thought on this, John. I was thinking we could do a roadmap session probably tomorrow to potentially get that moving. Does that work for you, Shane? If I was to...
I'm good anytime. I wouldn't be coming with like, hey, this is what the solution is, but that a roadmap session would be great, because that would allow me to fully understanding and be able to interface with folks that are building some of these tools, to then be able to then shape on top of what the foundation they've already created, and kind of finish this kind of final gap between what's being built and like true agentic workflows.
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing. I don't think we're far off from your vision. That's why I think, there's probably a small segment of things that need to be completed in your at least the way you presented it on the call. So definitely I want to get into that roadmap session. That sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. So I'm totally down for that event. And yeah, I believe tomorrow would be fine. We would just want to make sure we coordinate on the time, but if it's around this time tomorrow, that would be fine. Anywho, yeah, that sounds good.
Sorry,
I think this has been 5 minutes.
It's great. Great introduction, and I'm a big believer in, like, when everyone's on the call, to try and get some idea of timing. Does this work, Shane, Mike? Define. I'm going to use you as three random sample. Does that timing work for you?
Yeah, that timing would work for me.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm pretty open. I can make
Define.
most times.
It can work for me. I just have a question for Shane.
Yeah,
before we... Yeah, so I just try to understand what you mean by agentic workflows, both conceptually and on the tech side. So what you proposed looks a lot like being able for the agents to have the tooling to understand how to use the LivePeer APIs and the LivePeer products, what we provide as base utilities. And so is this your vision? Do I understand correctly, or you mean something else?
No, it's basically building on top a kind of an interface and kind of like a tool mapping that makes sense for specifically agentic workflows. Because like right now, if I were to want to take, I've got my media, or I've got my live stream. Say I wanted to do like event detection or something like that inside of a security camera, right? Like something like that. And because really at the end of the day, there's so many different LivePeer capabilities, but those workflows, like what exactly do you need in order to have object or like scene identifying or object identifying inside of a live stream. Like we already have the AI models, right? And certain AI models. There's certain libraries though we would we would probably need to be running as well. Well, we would need to be running as well. That could be in at least traditionally under bring your own container, but that could actually. I'm still trying to or still piecing together exactly what maybe the modules would be, or maybe there's a module side built on top of the cloud stack. But basically allowing kind of a standard pipelines for, hey, I want to do something that 90% of the agents, where if they have a video file, what are the things they could do with that video file? Oh, they could convert it, they could do this, they could do that, they could do this, and all those things are predefined as tools. So you're not using LivePeer as an application. You're using it as there's one layer above it that just turns LivePeer into tools, and then that allows agents to just take it, install kind of like a very thin, a kind of a thin client on top of a kind of like a LivePeer. What would probably be more of like a LivePeer gateway, but they only interface with it through essentially tools, because most pipelines, like you could probably hit 90% of use cases. If someone's got a file on their computer and they want to a video file and they want to do specific things with it, there's most users, there's probably a handful of things that they would really want to do with it, if they had the tools to just use it with LivePeer. So I'm just trying to find out what those pipelines are. Like I've already just been thinking of just tons on my own of like, man, I could have my own Copilot for meetings and things of that nature. So thinking through what those pipelines are, and then you create kind of a framework to be able to turn all of these application capabilities that a lot of the existing tooling is built around for building applications, and then turn those and kind of bridge the gap, so you kind of have a pipeline focused, kind of like a pipeline focused toolkit that interfaces then through whether it's cloud or some of these other application some of these other development tools. So to interface with LivePeer. Anyways, that's kind of just the idea, because I know myself, I've been looking into it to try to figure out, okay, if I just want to give an agent this and just, hey, take these files or take this stream, there's still quite a bit of work I'd have to do. So I'm trying to figure out if there's a really efficient way and really good way to basically take what everyone else has built and go to the next level with it, which is making it accessible via pipelines, which are kind of standardized tools that LLMs could customize.
This sounds really interesting.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, DeFi.
Just want to say that this sounds really interesting. I understand that Sane is still in some aspect in the conceptual space, but I do think there is value there. I think that Sane, you can confirm this. Like you imagine this in two different space. So you also want the agents. Let's say you want to build the image detection application, you go and you find the recipes that you create, so you know exactly what libraries and what pipelines you need to use. And then you also need the appropriate pipelines, which might be part even of your RFP. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think this is where you're converging conceptually.
Yeah, I think I think we're basically on the same page on that.
Awesome. I'm super excited for this, not least because Shane, you've got a huge amount of product experience as well as engineering experience in it. I feel like when there are different solutions, it is useful always to have someone coming in outside of the ecosystem as well to see where the similarities, bring external experience, and try and maybe not come up with a canonical solution, but at least make sense of it and give a direction to it. So super excited for the session, and please do. We already have 7 people interested, so yeah, excited to move forward with that tomorrow. Any closing words, Shane, from your side, Matt?
No, I'm excited, and yeah, thanks for getting this roadmap session on the calendar. So fantastic.
We want to move fast. We need to. So yeah, let's do it tomorrow, and yeah, we can make sure that we do move ahead fast. Cool, fantastic. Alrighty, next up, and Shane, great to have you here. I know it's first session that you've done, and yeah, super excited for tomorrow. Fantastic. Moving forward, I'm going to come to Elliot and then Zara and Lily. Just for context before Elliot takes the stage. So for those of you who don't know, we did an RFP for the delegated UX analysis, particularly with the Explorer, effectively doing a lot of research into delegated count from an explorer perspective, right? Like where's the friction? Where are people falling off from the onboarding experience? And this is something that actually came up. Speedy, I'm going to call you out because I think you're on the call. It was something that Speedy put forward in our initial RFP discussion on this, and something that I think is really useful for the ecosystem to have in the back of our minds. So this was a roughly a month-long RFP that was posted by Rick. Shout out to Brad as well for helping to scope it. And what we're going to briefly hear are 2 proposals put forward by Elliot and Lily, and then the network engineering SPE review team, which is Rick, Brad, and Jason, will be making a decision in the next couple of days. So that gives a bit of context for it, and yeah, without further ado, Elliot, do you want to come up and kick things off, and then we'll come to Zara and Lily. Great.
Oh, am I coming through?
Yep, awesome. We got you. Feel free to share your screen if it makes it easier.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Was about to ask. All right, so hopefully this is showing.
Yeah, we've got you.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I've got 5 minutes, right? This is 12
exactly.
pages, so I'm gonna try to go.
No, don't
high level overview.
Yeah, just really high level. Obviously, this is just to sort of like socialize the application, and yeah, don't feel like you need to go into a lot of it. Keep to the highest level.
Okay, I'll try to do 2.5 minutes. Yeah, so on the forum, you can check out the full proposal, read through it. Just kind of going through all the headings and giving the high level of each thing. So we are Raid Guild. We're the ones proposing this. It's going to be a team within Raid Guild of 2. So it's myself, who worked on the previous RFP, the maintenance RFP, and Beyonder, who also worked on the maintenance RFP. Also, for context, Beyonder specifically was picked to be on this because he's the person who led the voting transparency feature, and he's a full stack developer, but he's very focused on UX stuff and design. So he has a very good eye for that kind of stuff. Just some maybe credibility context. Raid does have a lot of experience with kind of high risk trust, like high trust required UX flows. I myself was head of product at a company called Rigor, which required investors to deposit pretty large sums of money into smart contracts and then release them in tranches. And subcontractors, construction people had to also use our application to get that money and offboard it. So took a lot of work to basically get the trust correct there and the UX correct on the contractor side. maybe something to dive into more is the timeline thing. I think something that may be missing in detail here is we've got Trench 1, Trench 2, Trench 3, all basically filling up the whole month of June. So starting June 1st to the end of June. A little bit of extra detail in here is the first tranche we're focusing on with all the stakeholders, specifically the Live Peer Foundation, making sure our audit plan actually looks good. Internally, we're going to be like figuring out the labor split between Beyonder and myself in more detail. And then we also want to validate the matrix that we've picked as we're going through this teardown, and also verifying that we have picked all the right protocols and platforms to focus on. Tranche 2, so Tranche 1, that's going to take a whole week probably just because there's a little bit of back and forth probably that's required. Tranche 2, going to split this between 1 week doing competitive teardown, gas specification, and annotated screenshots and flow notes, and then spend the next week doing new designs and wireframes, instrumentation plan, and the first draft of the backlog. And then the last week of the month is going to be listening to feedback from that backlog and addressing it and coming up with a final draft of everything. We have our list of platforms and protocols we're focusing on. I am going to skip maybe this for the sake of time. And the main things to focus on are Coinbase for the centralized exchanges, just because that's it's specifically built to be kind of the easiest staking platform, just really easy language. Kraken and Binance are mainly to focus on like how they're describing more detailed metrics like reward fees or sorry, rewards, reward history, and different things that you're actually supposed to stake on, like information around that. Cosmos and Kepler are going to be the main focus of the protocol part, because that's the closest probably to what LivePeer is like, as far as like validator discovery and the details it shows for that. We've got comparison matrix, the dimensions for our comparison matrix here. It includes qualitative stuff and quantitative stuff. Different scenarios that we're going through, such as fiat start, funds already in the exchange, funds in your wallet. I think I'm already at 5 minutes. Last thing I can mention, can be posting on Figma, Google Sheets, and Google Docs as the kind of the delivery of all this stuff. But we're leaning a little bit towards putting it all in a Notion doc. Even if like LivePeer created a space for us in their Notion and then just give us write access, that could also be a pretty good avenue. And last thing, instrumentation plan, focusing on Vercel analytics and adding events to that because it's compliant with like European GDPR stuff, and because there's already Vercel Pro plan in place at LivePeer. And I'll stop there.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Elliot. Before we come to questions, I think it's just worth getting Zira and Lily up as well to do a quick overview of their presentation as well, and then maybe if anyone has any questions for both parties, then they can put them forward. Otherwise, we can just good to get everyone aware of the two applications. But thanks a lot, Elliot. Let's come to Zira. Welcome to the LivePeer ecosystem. I know this is the first time.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So I'm Zara. I'm a crypto UI UX designer. Me and Lily have submitted our proposal on the Delegator UX Analysis RFP. I will shortly go through the main points, and then you can ask us any questions that remains unanswered. So the main issue is not just
Zara,
our people staking, as you know.
Do you want to share your screen just to give like a quick overview?
Yeah, I could do that. Alright.
I'll stop the clock. Don't worry. Yeah, we've got you. Awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
I'll restart it from now. So you have 5 minutes to give a quick overview.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, so the main issue is not just are people staking, the issue is who is participating directly and how easy it is for normal LPT holders to become delegators themselves. The way we see it, LifePeer does not only need to explain the fact that self-custody gives more control or transparency, even though this is important, it is not enough for many users. Especially people holding LPT on exchanges, the exchange path feels easier, safer, and more familiar. So Explorer has to make direct delegation feel understandable, trustworthy, and worth the extra effort. In our quick review, we saw a few early issues that we would, of course, validate properly during the audits. First, let me see. Okay, here. The token page introduces staking, but it does not fully onboard the user. It does not clearly answer basic questions like what is an orchestrator, what does delegation mean, where do rewards come from, or what risks exist. Second, inside Explorer, the orchestrator table has useful data, but it is hard to turn that data into a decision. There are terms like forecasted yield, delegated stake, trailing fees, and inflation change. These may be technically meaningful, of course, but they're for a new or moderately informed user, they are not always decision friendly. Users probably need to put a lot of effort just to understand what they mean. One idea that we want to explore is a simple mode for orchestrator table, where only the most important decision factors are shown first and advanced metrics are progressively available. We also think the user journey starts before Explorer. If someone searches for LPT, they may reach token price pages, exchange pages, or AI summaries before LifePeer's own onboarding. So part of the audit should look at how users move from discovery to delegation, not only what happens after they already reach Explorer. And connected to our instrumentation plan, let me have it here. Here. We also want to understand how far user actually move through this journey inside Explorer and where they drop off. For example, do they stop before connecting a wallet, before clicking delegate, or after opening an orchestrator profile? This would actually help us identify the exact moments where users lose confidence or stop, and then focus their recommendations on improving those points. Our deliverables would be a competitive teardown and teardown of exchange and decentralized staking UX, standardized baseline scenarios, a UX gap specification, wireframes and design recommendation, documentation improvement, and a prioritized backlog of 10 to 15 improvements. Also, our team is intentionally two-sided. I lead the UX side, competitive teardown, user flow, Figma wireframes, and product communication. Lily leads the protocol and technical validation side. She has built a staking and reward distribution system, worked on bridges, and can help make sure the recommendations are accurate and practical for the Explorer codebase. So, okay, so our goal is not to produce a generic report, but to give LifePeer a clear evidence-based handoff. where users get confused, what competitors do better, what Explorer should explain or redesign, and which fixes should be prioritized first. If you have any questions or feedbacks, feel free to share it with us either right now or later via email or Discord. And thank you all for listening.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming and sharing a bit more about the proposal. Awesome to see, and I know it's can be a little bit left field coming into a random water cooler and presenting. So I appreciate your time. We've seen both proposals now, and obviously there's a lot to them, and the network engineering SP is currently reviewing. But does anyone have any questions for either Zira or for Elliot on either side about the proposal? Mike just saying this is great. Is there a question there, or just a positive affirmation of greatness? Mike, anything you want to add? No, affirmation. Love it. Okay. Fantastic. Putting this. Fantastic. A lot of support from Define as well. Please do come up on stage if it's quick rather than typing out a question. BD Peter, get up on stage if it's easier. We'll bring you up and you can ask. Maybe I can answer that one. So we have a question here from Peter saying, very cool. Just wondering, a handoff was mentioned. Is there any plan for execution subsequently? Yes, is the answer. We're just we had discussions internally and actually thought that rather than trying to do everything concurrently, as we have often done within both the foundation and the LiPid project in general, we're going to try and sequence it out. So thinking about this first stage being focused on research and trying to have about a month or so to get a lot of that research done. And then we'll be following up with something which is far more executional and actually do the work itself. Okay. Just looking at Speedybird's comment. Good to see you focus on getting more clarity in the UI, especially around CDAs and ambiguous flows terms. Awesome. Any questions just before, while we have Zira, while we have Elliot? Any questions directly, other than positive affirmations and appreciation for the presentations? Maybe I'll just ask one question. Maybe this is a question for both, actually, Elliot, if you want to come back on stage. But just a quick overview. I know that you both mentioned a little bit on past work, but do you have anything like concrete around a case study that you've done in the past similar to this that can be shared? And I guess some of the key learnings that came out of it. It doesn't have to be identical. Obviously, every protocol is different in that regards. But do you maybe have an exact use case that can be shared? Zira, I feel free to go first if you want while it comes up, or Elliot. I don't mind. Toss a coin.
I don't want to speak totally for Beyonder. I'm sure he's got more experience this in general, but just something I know that Beyonder did before this was something sort of similar for the voting transparency feature, starting like with UX and building out from there. But as far as like doing a competitive teardown between different platforms first before going into UX, I don't want to speak for Beyonder, but he may have some experience in that kind of thing. But sort of similar with at least the recent feature.
Sarah, do you want to speak to a past like case study that would be useful to share a bit more on?
Sure. Okay. As I said, I'm a UI UX designer, so my work is mostly in that area. I can show you right now my Behance portfolio. Just give me a second. Okay. So my recent work was on Ergoraphel. I redesigned the whole product, and it included adding multiple features for making it interesting, making it more complex. Not complex in the sense that the user might get confused, but in a sense that it adds interesting stuff to it. You can see the Behance portfolio. It is more UI friendly since it's for Behance, but I can show you. And here we have the user flow. I don't know how much I should explain about this product. It is a blockchain powered raffle platform, and it was built on Ergo blockchain, if you happen to know that. We focused on creating a raffle platform that people from the community can come and create different raffles with different specifications, like how many winners does this raffle have, and on what token is this raffle based on, and very details on that. I'm not gonna go deeply in it since I think our time is limited. And we have options like vote for credibility. You can get tickets. We have different baskets that people can add gifts to, and also the person who creates the raffle can put like, I don't know, like 5% of the whole raffle income into one basket and 10% into another. This is to make users interact with the product. You can see different types of
I'm conscious of
tickets
time,
and
Zara.
activities.
Is it possible
Yeah,
to just
sure.
share it?
Okay, so this is you do have my screen, right? The the design is now being implemented, so I don't have
okay.
yeah, this is my most recent work. I also do have a competitive teardown for a fintech website. The products did not manage to finish, but I still have that experience. I could show you that too if you are interested. Should
I think maybe if you have anything to
And
share just in the chat, that would be fantastic. Just so that
yeah,
people
okay.
know.
And of course, Lily has more technical experience. Maybe if she could share. Yeah, thanks.
Great. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Elliot. Thanks, Sarah. Let's move forward. I know there's a lot to get through. So yeah, we'll be announcing the RFP decision in well, hopefully in the next 24 to 48 hours. So we'll be following up soon. Next up, I wonder whether we could just quickly, yeah, I don't know whether people are short of time. Anyone particular short of time that needs to go next? I'm conscious that we're Doug. Do you want to give a very quick?
Yeah, hey Rich. Yeah,
Go
I
up.
was just typing an update in
Yeah,
the chat because I do
I
have
saw
to
you.
drop.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, so real quick, just wanted to give two updates. One is for everyone. Watch the social media and the Discords tomorrow, especially the Daydream Discord if you're in there, because we have an exciting release coming out tomorrow. For those of you who have joined these calls the past couple weeks, we've demoed the music.daydream.live demo application that shows real-time audio creation on the A-step model around some innovations that the Daydream team did. We are doing like an early technical first release of that tomorrow, targeting the AI media tinkerer community to get a bunch of early users and feedback and show off the open source innovation. And we want a lot of feedback so that we can work in the coming weeks towards a more productized release towards the music community. So should be exciting. Just keep your eyes open and feel free to help us amplify that once it drops tomorrow afternoon. The second topic that I wanted to cover was I just wanted to acknowledge the discussion that we had last week as a group around the shifting role of the live peer orchestrator. Let's see if I can share this presentation here. Don't have time to run through the full presentation, but we had an open community discussion around how the role of the orchestrator is sort of shifting and changing in an AI first world. And this slide shows the comparison to sort of the role of an orchestrator in this world versus in a transcoding only world. And that means adapting to multiple heterogeneous job types, supporting all of the product market fit experiments that all the builders in our ecosystem are undertaking that all look a little different, flexibly deploying hardware rather than dedicating only existing idle hardware. So that might mean renting from cloud, it might be spinning up third-party services, and that's different than how it sort of used to be, right? Pricing and data transparency are bigger challenges when there's multiple job types and we're discovering how to price for different hardware and support different use cases and still operate profitably. So really good discussion. Just to summarize, I think there were like three big takeaways. One is everyone on the call pretty much agreed with this behavior change, and many orchestrators are already operating this way. So this means we probably would be well served to move ahead with updating the expectation setting in this direction in terms of how we communicate about the orchestrator role in the network and the opportunity and what that means. Work to do on how and where, but seems like this is sort of an inevitable shift. So that was one big takeaway. The second was, we confronted and acknowledged a bunch of open, hard problems that need to be solved in this world around, the cloud margin pricing paradox, figuring out who authors the negotiation protocol between gateways and orchestrators. How do we evolve the staking UX so that LPT flows and incentivizes the orchestrators that are behaving in the way that helps the network? Any updates to reward design? Which dashboards do we need, right? We don't have time to go through all of these right now, but those were acknowledged as hard, open challenges, and some of them really touch the live peer protocol at the core. So there's more work to be done, more discussions to be had to figure those out and make progress on them together. And the last insight I think was worth highlighting. Mike's here on the call. I think he really articulated this well and hammered it home. It's that there are a lot of people building applications and services on the network trying to generate demand, and they're all they're moving forward, they're building what they need, and they're filling the gaps to support their use case as they need to, right? If the network and protocol doesn't do something that they need in order to be successful, they have no choice but to build it themselves. And this is really powerful. And I think as soon as there's significant demand flowing behind any one or multiple of these use cases, that means there'll be so much momentum in terms of everyone focusing on the problems that need to be solved to actually fulfill that demand. And that might mean contributing the hardware and provisioning in the way that those use cases need. It might mean working on the core software and clients and even protocol updates themselves in support of that. and it'll really be informed by where there is demand. So in the meantime, we sort of have to, let everyone cook and enable them to build these custom solutions and support these experiments. It might be misdirected or difficult to solve all these hard problems perfectly in the abstract before knowing exactly which use cases you're solving them for. So it puts us in this little bit of a challenging and sometimes uncomfortable position. But the good news is we have all of these great builders trying to generate demand, making their requirements known. So not completely aimless there. So it's another key interesting takeaway. So that's it. Wanted to summarize that for everyone, and we'll follow up with some of the next steps for some of the sessions to tackle the hard problems as we go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Doug. And it was a great session. And there's definitely going to be some follow-ups on the hard problem side, but I think it was a pretty good conclusive discussion. So thanks everyone for joining. Doug, I don't know whether you have time for questions, but
one last thing to mention, right?
Yeah,
this is something that we think hopefully will be an ongoing discussion, that we'll continue to have more follow-ups and tracking this going forward, right?
Yep, definitely. I mean, I think some of them are long-standing issues that reach pretty deep, but there's also some really tactical, especially on the engineering and communication side, follow-ups that we can dig into in sessions right away.
awesome.
Cool.
Well,
I am going to have to get going, but you know where to find me. You can drop a note here in the chat and tag me, and I will follow up.
Thanks a lot, as ever, Doug. Great. Let's move forward. Conscious of time, I know that Steph, I wonder if you don't mind Eli jumping up ahead. Just I know he's got a Streamplace update which I'd be keen to come to. Thanks. Awesome. Eli, welcome up. Let's get you up on stage. Great.
Hello. Everybody hear me?
Hello. Just a quick interlude before everyone starts to leave over the next 20 minutes. Can you please just give a quick vote to this poll while Eli's getting the presentation up?
Got it. Yeah, everybody can.
Yes, we can see your screen. Fantastic.
Got it.
Welcome, Eli. Welcome back, mate.
Nice. Let me start my timer here. I'll get right to it. So Streamplace has been working on codifying. We've always had this sort of C2PA-based signed media provenance format that's been used inside Streamplace exclusively so far. But lately we've really been working on codifying that and building what I think is a really, really cool sort of next generation signed media format for starting for Streamplace, moving on to the LivePeer network, and moving from there to everywhere else that needs media provenance and the authenticity in a world full of slop, which seems to be really resonating with people lately. I have, after 2 months, this was really some of the lowest level, fiddliest video work I've ever had to do. After 2 months of it, we have something that I think I am pretty happy with. It's been captured in 2 specs. This is a development version of the IPFS Foundation's Dazzling project. What we're going for here is there's 2 specs, Muxel and Stupa. And what we're going for here is content-addressed video primitives, right? So video that can be, the Muxel intro captures this pretty well, but video files notoriously difficult to work with. I can run FFmpeg twice with identical settings and get different bytes back out, which means it's difficult to content address. It's difficult to say, okay, this is the content of the video and this is the hash. In a way that is durable across transformations and that sort of thing. So Toward that end, we have captured two different so there's the base media format, Muxel. This is essentially a very, very strict subset of MP4 files. So MP4 is a very open-ended format with lots and lots of different things you can include there. In order to get that complexity down to something manageable, we have here, the formatting is gone on this. This used to have a nice little formatted thing, never mind. We have a base format based on essentially a CMAF container. So individual here is where the actual video data lives. There is a segmentation format. It's a little bit of basically codec data to the start of it, and then a self-certifying format that we can actually sign. And from that, there's some details here as to how we transform that into a nice actual MP4 file for playback for an actual user. So I'll leave this here. This is all, or I'll leave the link to Rob and Dazzling. So this is, if anybody cares to review that, I'll post about this in a couple other places too, but this is just recently getting out there. Oops, can't copy paste here. GitHub.com to Robin Dazzling poll 99. Cool. So then the other one here is Stupa. This is an extension of the C2PA signing stuff. Oops. That we have been using to cover Ethereum signing, ES256K signing. This one is a much smaller one. It just this is a part that tells you that we are adding K256 signing, and here is a part that tells you in order to actually sign a file, you need to generate like an NX509 cert, like a TLS cert, basically, and this tells you how to do that in a world where the big shift here from like the C2PA's plans for the universe is that we are not doing the CTPA is like, how do we ensure content authenticity? Well, everybody's going to go to DigiCert and pay them $250 a month for a signing certificate. You're going to sign all your data with, and then that's how now it's legit. And obviously, that from a crypto perspective, from a Web3 or sort of decentralized web perspective, that's pretty funny. And we have our own trust chains based around blockchains and that sort of thing. So this outlines how to go from a DID, basically an Ethereum address, to a cert that you can use to actually sign the data. And I am, with AI assistance, most of the way through a proof of concept implementation of this in Go Live Peer that you should see surfaced in the next week. The end result of all of this is that we will have Go Live Peer producing not just some opaque MPEG-TS blobs, but a nice signed MP4 file where orchestrators can stand by their work and say, yes, this is me. I did this using these settings. I stand by it. Down the road, punish me if I did a bad job, or let me know if there was a bug or something like that. Orchestrator provenance embedded in the data so you can relate it all the way back to the original source. Lots more to come, but I'm pretty excited about where we are right now. I know that was pretty dense. Happy to take any questions.
We love high density presentations. Maybe an initial question. From a use case standpoint, are you seeing trends of specific industries or specific use cases where you think this is going to be critical and sort of a game changer in terms of adoption?
Yeah, going out and evangelizing some of this stuff and talking to people, and explaining all the different sort of technical fiddly pieces of Streamplace. The content authenticity thing really resonates with people. People really hate scrolling their social media feeds right now, and it's a lot of AI generated nonsense. Like satisfaction is way down with that sort of thing. And so the part that people really start to nod is where I say, yeah, well, Streamplace has been architected from the ground up to, every byte is signed by the original author. Any transformations the video goes through, like transcodes, that's what we're building right now, obviously. and you can trace the original source back there. There's no, the lying still exists, so there's no one technical problem that can fully address the issue of inauthentic content. But I think there is a big and a huge emergent content space for content authenticity in increasingly in a world full of increasingly AI generated content.
And do you see this being merging with how would it integrate directly with, let's say, a new social platform like we had Scarlet Social as an example? How is that integration process, and is that more critical to integrate, for instance, within social platforms? Or I'm trying to work out some of the go-to-market strategy around this, and how you're approaching that in general.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's probably a long process. I think you have to teach users. The problem is that I'm doing a great deal of work here to be very honest and transparent with people around, like, no, here's the actual, go look at the bytes, look at the signatures, you can see the actual provenance chain. I clipped somebody else's video, and here's the original source, and you can go verify all of that. And I can expose that, I can build a UI for that on the users. And then if this thing actually gets popular, Twitch can be like, oh, well, here's a blue check mark next to the stream. And so, it's authentic also. So it's a matter of, so there's like a user education piece to it, but it's something that people are really hungry for. So I think there's like something of an unexplored product space in figuring out how to expose that correctly to users.
Awesome. Any other questions for Eli?
I do have a question regarding the real-time usefulness of this application. What Eli has been doing is having implications that I do consider to be extremely useful. For example, I can create a video that when I send to someone as a piece of communication, they can confirm that it was produced by me and it is not a deep fake. And this I find to be extremely useful, but specifically for real time, for streaming, where do you see the user cases coming from?
You're asking about my immediate response there was to think of a technical answer to that, because this is all based on segment signing, which might not work as well in like a truly real-time use case. But from like a user perspective, I think there's ways to make a lot of these things work with real time. Are you thinking of like real time, like the AI portal, like the real time AI stuff that's in Go Live Peer now? What sorts of cases are you thinking there?
Even on the streaming, let's say that I'm creating a streaming using the utilities that you produce and take that you produced. Let's say I'm doing streaming towards an audience. They already have the gateway of communication, my URL. They received it from my official account, for example, or from a web interface. So they know that I'm authentic. So there in the real-time streaming, I do not necessarily, at least to my comprehension, see a user case, whereby for the real-time AI, you may have some interesting user cases. So from the top of my head, I can think that when you're producing, not for real-time AI, sorry, just for producing AI media that I can prove that they were produced by me or by a team of people.
Yeah.
This again, I find that this is useful, but for real time particularly.
Yeah. So, plus one of that last use case you just described, I think that's very, we do like AI generated content for a variety of things, but having embedded metadata that we're not trying to deceive people, right? So it's like, hey, this was generated by this AI at this point, I think is like one of the original killer use cases for C2PA. I would say the other one for, so there's like ways we could adapt this signing for real time in terms of, especially when we're moving to media over quick. It's a little hard to do over WebRTC, but like the next generation of that is going to be media over quick, which was actually really instrumental. Go away, Claude. In the design of Muxel, the very very similar structure there. The other one I would say is for real time conversation. Yeah, you're talking to somebody. Maybe you're not worried they're inauthentic, but then the next step where that is then recorded and then sent to somebody else. That you could have the embedded signatures and the timestamps of when that original conversation took place and when that video was minted. Then that's super useful for somebody that's going to watch the recording a year from now and wants to have some sort of assurance about content authenticity.
Another particularly useful user case, just from the top of my head, for real time specifically, I think is for streaming voice, and also for if you have an embodied agent that you want the other person, like if you are on a call, like to know and to be able to verify somehow that this agent is owned by that person.
Yeah, and that right, and who is actually accountable for who is creating it there. Yeah, I think yeah, lots of really interesting use cases there.
Awesome. Well, thanks Eli for coming and giving an update. Really great to see this moving forward, and I think there's definitely like a pretty broad playing field of use cases. It would just be interesting to see from a productization standpoint, how it's packaged, and I guess that's part of the fun. Figuring that all out. Awesome to see it moving forward, and let's catch up and see how the foundation can help.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Rich.
Awesome. Thanks, Eli. Great. Let's move forward. I think we have a couple more to go. Let's come to Steph next. If you are still here, yes.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Every time share my screen is not possible. So that's all good because I'll drop
Do you want me
the
to share?
Is that?
Do you want me to share? Is
Actually,
it
share.
something?
I think the presentation is just untitled at the moment. I just dropped it into the chat, which also means I probably have to update permissions on this.
Yeah, just give me a little, if
Don't
you
we
update.
love a little housekeeping at the top of the share, right?
It's always the case.
Cool,
Discord
thanks.
once again.
Don't feel bad. 4.5 years, and I still can't get a screen share to work. So I have no idea.
That's true.
And what does it take, you know?
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna jump in, Rich. So when you get it up,
That's weird. It's when it's now not letting me share. Maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe if this is crazy.
Let me just talk through it because we're getting down to the wire here, and I'll drop
the stage, my dad, and then it might work. Otherwise, Steph, just go. You go, and if it works,
yeah. I'll just push ahead. So yeah, anyway, I'll drop the slides here in the chat in a minute, but just wanted to give a quick update from the narrative function. For folks who don't know me, I'm Steph from the foundation here, head of narrative. And then there's some other key teammates down in the audience right now, Adam, product designer, and Joe, who's our content editorial lead. So I'm just gonna give a quick update from our end, just to commit to just an ongoing weekly beat from inside the foundation. So we have three sort of goals that we're pushing toward, which is our content engine, network, what we're calling network credibility, and then developer onboarding. So on the sort of first part with the content engine, we actually have our first builder spotlight benching to ship this week. We're highlighting Marco and Frameworks as they're taking on the reins from Live Peer Studio shortly or in the next coming weeks. And just a shout out to him, he's been working tirelessly to prepare the platform which includes some specific upgrades from Studio, which I'll just quickly shout since it's for the transcript and for the plot too. But yeah, Mark was excited about the updated load balancing with regional cells versus the global cluster. Yeah, huge shout out to Marco. There's improved VOD pipeline and caching. There's protocol breadth across ingest and playback, which includes like RTMP, RTP, SRT on the ingest side. On the playback side, he's got MP4, HLS, web video, and more. And yeah, he's continuing to add more protocol breadth as well. There's also some player upgrades. There's it's a Vanilla.js core wrapped for React, Svelte, and web components. And all of this within a self-contained platform. So yeah, just continued shout out to Marco. He's really pulling some all-nighters, some weekends to get this out. So excited to highlight his work. We're also preparing an anchor beat to highlight 1 year of the LivePeer project and the foundation, sort of collaborating over the last 12 months. This is going to include contributions from the network. So we're mapping those narrative contribution paths right now. Plans to bring them live in the next 2 weeks, but the end output should be something fun and also something different. So yeah, should be hearing from either myself or Joe in Discord over the next couple weeks. And then we're also sequencing some additional builder spotlights to align with some of the retrospective work that's been done and also some of the current work being sequenced against the network engineering SPE. Quickly on the network credibility side, I just want to give a shout to Adam. There's some nice quality of life updates to the website. I can't screen share, but if you just give the website some love. Adam's been just putting in some nice refinements there, which these things matter in the age of tons of slop sites that can get spun up and spun down. So actually, these little detail fixes, they matter in the long term for maintaining our credibility in a crowded space. And yeah, so on developer onboarding, there's been some work with Rick and the network engineering SPE on recalibrating what was previously called the 5-minute API. We're recalibrating that to a 5-minute developer experience, just to better serve the audiences that we're calibrated to serve right now, and that also align with the capacities outlined in the network engineering SPE. So we've identified 2 ICPs that we're calibrating toward this initial 5-minute DevX. The first ICP is an Edges developer, and the second ICP is we're identifying as a founder and app pipeline porter. Let me get my slides here in the chat because oh cool, you've got them in there. Thanks, Rich. Yeah, I think the thing I'm gonna do sort of as a next step here is I'm gonna sort of ping some of the product folks here in the ecosystem. And actually, Shane, very nice to have you here. I'm gonna probably send you a DM as well. And yeah, I would just love to kind of get some additional validation on these ICPs that will hopefully further clarify how we sequence work against the network engineering SPE. So yeah, those are the updates in the narrative corner. Yeah, Merdad, are you trying to? Oh, no, we just got some background noise. But yeah, happy to answer any questions. Also happy to hand the mic over. And I think, speaking of Mike, I think Mike's up next.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Mic up. Thanks a lot, Steph. Awesome to see and get like more of a picture on where the LivePeer story is heading. Really cool to see it coming together. And yeah, big shout out to Marco on the frameworks front and Adam to see those to see the website improvements going from strength to strength. Any quick questions?
I just got share your screen privileges on Discord. This is crazy. I swear to God, it was not like that before. Anyway,
that is weird. It
so
wasn't
rude.
like that's very strange.
I know. I don't know. But yeah, yeah, definitely toggle that light and dark mode theme on the website too. Just yeah, shout out to Adam.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot, Steph. There's someone against you. The Discord gods are against you.
Every
Literally,
week.
the buttons literally just come back.
I'm just gonna have my agent do it next time. The Discord one.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Steph. Great. Next up, I think is IBS actually. Mike, sorry, you're gonna have to wait another minute. You say you want to go last, so IBS, do you want to quickly go through your topic?
Hi everyone. My name is Ibrahim and I want to share an update about a feature I've been working on the Explorer. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick. It's currently asking me for permission. Probably I've not shared my screen on Discord in the past. So probably maybe the next speaker should go first. Then I'll maybe quit Discord and give it permission to share my screen. I don't know if that's okay. Can anyone hear me? All right, so I'm just gonna quit Discord right now and open it again so I can share my screen. Thank
you. Sorry about that. IBS, any
I think he's trying to share his screen and he was unable to do it, so he said he's going to exit and come back.
Mike, do you want to quickly do a quick update while IBS do?
Yeah, that's fine. So again, Cloud SP still in the throes of trying to get this, Blue Claw platform off the ground. Obviously, a bunch of challenges still. Not, I wouldn't say challenges, but basically, we've got 4 orcs we've onboarded this week. Looks like some simplifications are still needed to make smooth out the onboarding process. Quite a few steps. Lot of changes involved in getting this new platform off the ground, but it's still something that I think is probably the future of the live peer network, and I think it's definitely needs some more ironing out. But over 675 million work units processed on the network for Blue Claw, over 24,000 requests. So still some good usage, not necessarily what I would consider, high volume yet. I mean, 675 million sounds like a big number, but I think, when you look at, AI providers like OpenAI and Anthropic, not that we're trying to be them, but they're in the trillions of work units being processed. So I think getting to 1 billion or at least multiple billions would be a milestone to be happy to and proud of. So hundreds of million, pretty good, but still far cry from what we need to see in terms of getting orcs, getting a lot of funds and fees flowing through the network. So definitely got more work to do there. A lot of tooling and infrastructure that we've been building and working on. I think this aligns perfectly with what Doug's vision of the orcs role shift in the future. I think a lot of the tooling and products or software that we're building is going to lend itself very well for payment clearinghouse, for simplified orchestrators, bringing custom features on the network from the supply side, and also being able to find and discover those. So I think those are challenges that haven't been a problem when you only have Daydream or transcoding going on the network. But I think with Blue Claw and some of these new workloads, you're going to find a lot of the tools that we built are going to be the enablers for custom pipelines and the ability to have that 5 minute, from sign up to deploy my app on LivePeer. I think these are some of the enablers that are going to be there. And I'll share a lot more documentation and things going forward as we continue to work through our beta. I think one of the big challenges from Blue Claw adoption, and I think this was something that Merdad brought up in chat, and this is something that Speedy and I have been talking about for quite some time, is being able to trust and secure the usage on the network. AI providers like Venice AI have what they call a trusted execution environment. And I think these trusted execution environments are what make it basically cryptographically secure to submit a prompt to the network, like an OpenAI chat prompt to the network, and not have it compromised or have some sort of tampering in the background. So some providers, obviously OpenAI and these guys are providing it, but like I said, Venice has their own proprietary approach. And I think one of the limiting factors for Blue Claw is going to be securing that and making sure that this trusted execution environment is on LivePeer. And I think right now it's afforded by hardware through like H100s and really high end hardware, but on the consumer side, like 4090s, 5090s, I think there's some challenges there. So I think this is an area where we've been spending a lot of time building and working around, trying to come up with some solutions like ZK proofs and things along those lines that would ultimately help aid in this area. But I think this is something that is a bigger challenge, but something that I think we're up to the task, and we should be able to build something along those lines. But just wanted everyone to know that, we haven't fallen off. We're definitely still working. We're still building. But I think this is one of those challenges that could be a limiter in the short term for how we can continue to grow adoption. But I think we'll continue building, and we still continue to sign up users every other day. Every couple of days, we get new users signing up. We get more usage on the network. So we'll continue to monitor that and continue to build that out. And then at some point in the near future, we're going to do a real marketing campaign to really go after some additional users. So I think that's the latest from my side. If there's anyone that wants to deploy OpenClaw or Hermes agents and they're looking to deploy it and test it out, it would be good if you could give me a DM, shoot me a message in Discord. Maybe we can even start a thread in the orchestrator channel that will help folks get their agents off the ground. But it would be good to have more agents deployed, more orcs testing from the agent side, verifying their agents work, and getting additional usage on the network. So if anyone's interested, shoot me a message, or like I said, we can start a thread in Discord. But I think that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
I do have a question, Mike.
Shoot.
So Tees have been around a long time, and I remember a couple of years ago they were very much in people's minds. When I was at Protocol Labs, Filecoin, they were. It was what everyone wanted to integrate, to have, privacy, security, best practice. What do you think is the next step to discuss? That's sort of giving away. What do you think is the next step on moving forward with Tees? Because is this something that is at the protocol level? It's also something that's at the local level. It's a hard problem.
Yeah, it's a very hard problem, and I think the hardware side of it is pretty well defined today. I mean, again, if you have an H100 deployed in production, you just get this, right? Like, it's not like something special. You just are afforded that because the hardware supports it. In our environment, specifically deploying GPUs like 4090s and 5090s and those types on the network, they don't have that kind of security baked in. So I think the big challenge is, at least for Blue Claw, is how do we come up with a manner to using software basically, and maybe a mix of hardware, depending on what type of hardware, more like a CPU or a motherboard that might be needed in this case. But there's got to be some way to let customers know that when they submit their AI workload, if it's a prompt or whatever, we'll just take chatting in LLMs. If you're going to submit your LLM request, that no malicious actor, even orchestrators can be, we assume orchestrators are malicious. We can't trust anyone because it's a permissionless network. So we got to make sure that the software that they deploy is going to have some guarantees in place, cryptographic guarantees in place, to say nobody's tampered with the request from when the user submitted it to when the orchestrator processed it. And at the same time, being able to say, if I paid for a Qwen 3.6 model, that I actually got the Qwen 3.6 model, that it wasn't some other model that somebody like tried to pull the rug and say, they're representing a model that they're not actually running. So I think there's two parts to it. And I think those are some of the trust guarantees and the security guarantees that a provider like BlueClaw needs to have in order for customer confidence to go up. And I think that's ultimately going to be something that is going to be, when those issues are solved, become the next unlock that really brings in a whole slew of new users that, a lot of people now are going to play around with it. They're going to use it. They're going to try to do some stuff with it. And I've seen that usage slowly ticking up over the weeks here. But I think to really go and say, lots and lots of users are going to onboard, I think these are some of the things that might ultimately be a rate limiter right now. So, but I see everyone posting their T articles and their ZKs, and again, this is the kind of stuff that we're researching now and we're working on. I know Speedy's down in the audience, and this has been top of mind for him for quite some time. So we're definitely on it, but I think there's still some challenges in front of us. But I think we have some working ideas, and we'll be looking at some deployments over the next week or two, couple weeks here, as we try to get that level of trust and confidence up so that we can bring in the additional round of users.
Yeah, super interesting. Would love to take that conversation forward. So, and also for the network engineering SP, this is stuff that that is at the nice intersection between network engineering SP and the protocol SP, and seeing how we can sort of maybe fund it, or at least sort of have a more public conversation about it.
Yeah, I mean, right now we've been working, out of the graces of our hearts, trying to get real demand. I think we want to be successful from a business perspective. We want to launch businesses that can leverage this. I mean, BlueClaw is one of those underlying foundational businesses, but I think there are several stacks in software solutions that we plan to go to market with that are based on top of BlueClaw, that are not just the underlying infrastructure. They are actual solutions that are geared around it, and it's highly agentic and really personalized solutions for consumers that want to leverage AI but don't necessarily want to be the deploying a BlueClaw or an OpenClaw or a Hermes, because that's very difficult. And I think having tailored solutions that are personalized to people as personal assistants are the kinds of agents that I think we're really looking at trying to leverage and deploy. And they all ride on top of that LLM layer. So I think that's where we have multiple streams here going on, and we'll continue to have this conversation in public. And I think LivePeer has been the protocol of choice for us. So we'll continue to build on it and provide open source solutions where possible, and some proprietary software that we'll build on our own. But network engineering, I had a meeting with Rick yesterday as we started talking through a lot of these things. So these are ongoing conversations we'll continue to have.
I was going to say, don't be a martyr. Let's get you some funding if it's something at the network level. I think that's key.
Yeah, no doubt, definitely. I'm not going to say no to money. I can tell you that.
Alrighty, awesome. Any other questions for Mike? Very conscious of time. This has been a long one on a very, very hot late spring day.
Hit me in DMs if you do have something. I'm always available.
Fantastic. Well, thanks as always, Mike, and Speedy lurking with the ideas in the crowd. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mike. I think final one, IBS. Do you want to see if you can share screen, and let's come to you to take us home.
Hey everyone, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Okay, can you just quickly confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can now.
All right. I would like to quickly apologize to Mike. I know you wanted to go last, but I don't know. Discord just has a way of randomly selecting who can share screen and who can't at any time. So, sorry about that. So, I wanted to share a future. I'm working on the Explorer, on the Life Peer Explorer. So, currently, if you go to the governance page, you can when you click on any random poll, you can see how you can currently see the result of the poll. You can see like the for and against, but the problem here is that you can't see how the decisions were made. Like you can't see the participant that voted. You can't see their decision. You can't see also their voting history. So this is the current state of the governance page, and this is what I'm currently working on. And I added a little tab here that you can use to see the list of votes. You can see the overview as it was in the first place. And you can also see the list of votes. You can see the voters here. When this goes live, it's going to show their ENS address. So this is only showing this for development purposes. So you can also see their support, their decision. You can also see the transaction, which takes you to the Arbitrum Explorer. You can also see their history, like for instance, this particular voter has voted twice, and you can also see like the polls that they participated in, and a lot more information as well. So this is what I'm working on for the Explorer, and for more context, it's an open issue in the I think in the Explorer repo. So I'm almost done with this, and I'll be creating a pull request and a post in the forum. So once I'm done, I'll definitely post it in the Discord. But lastly, before I go, I want to make a tiny request. So I made a post about this particular Explorer feature that I'm working on, and I posted it in the launch. So I would appreciate if you can just give a thumbs up if you find this particular feature useful, if you find seeing the decisions of the voters useful on the governance page. I would really appreciate if you can just give a thumbs up. I'm gonna be dropping the link over here in the chat so we can sorry. So that's a wrong link, by the way. So I'm gonna be dropping the right one, and thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, ABS. Maybe a quick question. Is this something that what would be the next step from like you're going to post in the forum? Is that correct? And then what would the next step be that you're looking to do to get feedback?
Okay. So the post I'm gonna make on the forum is it should be under the retroactive grant. So I'm currently working on this for the retroactive grant, and I've spoken with Mirada, I've spoken with Rick and also Jason, and currently what is left for me is to just complete it and also get some kind of positive vibes from the community. I think that's like one bottleneck holding me down. So I'm gonna share the link that I posted, like where I add more information about the problem and the solution that I'm currently working on. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I think my dad can maybe follow up in a DM. I think the key thing is there is like with the retroactive grants is really to show impact. So it's like what does the impact of this have from yeah, how does that provide a real value add to everyone within the network. That's the key thing to focus on. But awesome to
Yeah.
see some building going on, and I'm sure I'll let my dad follow up, my dad Jason and Rick, and see how we can sort of like really make sure that it is impactful what you're doing. Awesome. It's super late. I on that note, the final thing I do want to do is just give one final plug to this. Oh, Mike's on. One final plug to this poll here. I can see that no one, or pretty much no one, has responded. I am aware that these sessions do go on quite late for UK European time, and also on Mondays that it's been a bit of a pain in the ass to reschedule. So please go and have a vote on that proposal, whether you want to. I say proposal, that Discord poll, whether you do want to keep it at the same time, you're happy with it, or you want to move it to Tuesday a bit earlier. Please, if you could just respond to it, that'd be great. Great. To wrap up, quick fire wins of the week. Wins of the week is where you can give a shout out to someone else in the ecosystem that's done particularly good work, or someone that you want to appreciate. I will give a shout out to the two new people that came on the chat, came on the conversation this week. So a big shout out to Shane for giving his update on some the agentic work that's going on and the session that's happening tomorrow. And a big shout out to Zira and Fatima for putting forward the RFP. I know it is going in largely blind to the ecosystem. So yeah, awesome to see you and have you on board. Any other wins of the week? My dad's Define. ODS can see you on stage. Shout out to EC and EC Wireless and team. It's great to see work being done on Delegated UX. Fantastic. Define, do you want to?
Giving this week shout out to you, Rich, for having one of the most interesting water cooler from since the time I had attendance into the live peer ecosystem, and for bringing for the measurements of the network extraordinary amount of new people into the ecosystem. And I really hope that this trend continues, because it's really exciting to see new and capable faces.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. And yeah, definitely something that we will try and do more of, and get new faces in. I think that's a key function of the foundation that we haven't been doing as much as we should have. My dad, do you want to go in? Any others? We've got Ditto from Define. It's been a good watercolor today. It has been a good watercolor. It's been a long one as well. Any other shout outs? tirelessly shipping Mike and Speedy. Right, I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We will see you maybe at the same time next week, maybe at a different time. If you please go and vote on that poll. Final plug. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for new faces. Thanks for the old faces. And see you all next week. Have a great week.